Hi everybody, this is Marlika from MyThreeSeedsofjoy.blogspot.com. I'm coming to you today to do a video on why I homeschool and why my homeschool is different than a lot of other homeschools that you may see. This is a raw video, meaning I haven't how can I put it? I haven't discussed this with a lot of people, or how would you say, came out the closet, because I was so skeptical of what people would say. But after watching so many videos on YouTube recently with Mahogany Homemaker's video blog, I decided that after watching quite a few videos that it was time for me to come and do a video to just be me. So in watching Mahogany Homemaker's videos, a couple of the videos stood out and it really kind of yanked at my coattail. And so I said, let me do a video and just put it all out there. And right now I'll tell you, if you leave a negative comment, it won't get posted, it will be deleted. Because I'm coming to you from my heart. I'm coming to you from a very raw and touchy-feely place. And this is my story. This is my family's story. Every homeschooling story is different. So I'm giving you my story. So in viewing, going back and viewing the videos, some of the topics kind of jumped out at me. One of them was diversity in the African American homeschool community. Another video was about, now this one really got me, is using correct, I'm just paraphrasing what I can remember. I think it was using correct English or grammar when doing videos. And what else was it? But there was a whole lot of videos that's been, you know, really dealing with me to just come on out and say how it is. So here it is. I homeschool my 3 sons, and I've been doing it for about going on 3 years now. The reason that I homeschool my 3 sons, or what made me come to this decision, was after putting so much faith into the public school system and watching them fail my children, I decided that it was something that I had to do to make situations better. But, here's the big but I did not feel that I was qualified to do what needed to be done. What do I mean by qualified? If you look at me, and if you know me, I always say that I am the poster child of special education. Meaning, I should have been labeled a million labels growing up. And when I was in school, I never realized why things didn't click. I never understood why I would be sitting there and stuff didn't stay. You know, nothing stuck. You know, I got little bits and pieces and moved along, but barely. So not until I had my second son that I realized what the problem was. And the problem was, all these years I've had cognitive issues in my learning, but I've learned to get around them with technology, so I didn't realize that the problem was even there until I had my second son. When I had my first son, he had learning issues which I thought that it was just him being a boy and eventually he would grow out of it. And I had him in school and he was surrounded by all these professionals that was going to help him, and he was going to be successful. He was there every day. He ate a good breakfast. He came from a loving home. Why would the school system fail him? His mom was a PTA president. She's raising up all this money for the school. Why would the school fail her children? Well, they did. And he was in middle school when I pulled him out. And it was weird because I had just got to that point where I felt that enough is enough. But I still was nervous because I'm not the best speller. I'm not, like I said, things just don't click in my brain the way they should click. You never get the same meal twice in my house unless it's wrote down. I just can't remember. So I'm sitting here trying to make a decision. I'm praying to God, God, what should we do? Me and my husband, we're discussing this and trying, I'm sitting there, I'm talking to the teachers, I'm going to parent-teacher conferences, I'm doing all of these things that you're supposed to do. I'm involved, I'm nurturing, I'm talking to my son, I'm doing all of these things, but he's failing. So God, what do we do? So it was placed on my heart from God and my husband to bring him out and homeschool him. Okay, so you want me to homeschool him? Now what? How do I homeschool a child when I don't have a degree, when I don't have the, what's the word? I didn't feel I was intellectual enough. I didn't feel like I got enough out of school to be able to translate it over and give it to him. So, in talking to different people, they said, Marlika, don't worry about it. That's what books are for. They were like teacher's manuals. And you'll meet I met a lot of people in these 3 years that has really helped our family. And before, it just seemed like so much in the beginning. So, like I said, going back, I pulled him out, brought him home, signed him up in a couple. I signed him up in a co-op. We did some other extra activities within the homeschooling community. At that time, I signed him up for Time for Learning because I was scared. I'm like, okay, now what do I do? So I put him on Time for Learning because I said, at least he'll be able to finish the rest of the school year out, and it'll give me time to get to know him again and also be able to learn what I need to learn to find out what direction I need to go in to give him a good quality education. So in the midst of me trying to better him, let's go back to my second child. My second child has cognitive issues. He's 13 now. He has delays in areas. He's just starting to read. We were very excited this past school year. The school said, well, some kids just don't get it. And I didn't accept that. I said that my child will learn. He will learn. He will read. So like now we are probably at, in adult's words, we're probably up to, he knows about 500 words. But it was such a struggle because at the time, here I am again, I have him in the public school system. I have him with all these people that's supposed to help him, and they're professionals, and what could go wrong? Well, the last year that before I pulled him out, the year before that, let's say he had a gym teacher in a special ed class because the original teacher was out on some type of family leave or something. So they put a gym teacher in there. So he had a gym teacher in a special ed class. Then we went from him being in a special ed class to them moving him to, when they did the big move to making everybody in general ed. So he went into general ed. So he's sitting in the classroom, mind you, sitting in a 5th grade classroom, unable to read. And the teacher is just giving him stuff, and you know, a lot of times he would bring it home, and just basically he was sitting in class. And so I went out, and me and my husband and my dad came together. We brought him a laptop, and we brought him this software that would be able to scan the papers in and read it to him. That way I felt that he wouldn't be sitting in class without being able to learn. So it went from that to, I'm sorry, Miss Davis, the scanner's not working, blah, 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 blah. Just a whole bunch of things went on till eventually we ended up pulling him out. So now I'm home with all 3 children. So what do? I end up meeting someone and joining a co-op. She introduced us to a co-op. And we went to the co-op, and I met all these wonderful people. But in the beginning, it was so overwhelming because all of the curriculum choices, and, you know, everybody seemed so bright and so intelligent, and so, you know, it was a lot to take in until you really get in and understand what's going on. So, for me, I can't take in a whole lot. Meaning, I would sit at these tables with these wonderful women, and they would give me all this advice, and they would tell me all these great things, and I would go home on overload, trying to remember what they said, and it was just so much. And so I'm study praying to God, like, I don't know what to do. What should I do? You know, and people were saying, well, you should